In 1991, inside a small California condo, two engineers sat surrounded by tangled cables, blinking lights, and half-eaten pizza boxes. One of them was Henry Samueli, a quiet, bespectacled UCLA professor. The other, his former PhD student, Henry Nicholas. Together, they were about to start a company that would one day reshape the internet and make them billionaires. But back then, all they had was $10,000, a dream, and a conviction that their technology could change the world. The company's name? Broadcom. To understand how a university professor built a multi-billion-dollar empire, we have to go back, way back, to where it all began. From immigrant roots to innovation. Henry Samueli was born in 1954 in Buffalo, New York, to polished Jewish immigrants who had survived the horrors of World War II. His parents arrived in America with little more than determination and hope. They eventually settled in Los Angeles, running a small liquor store just to get by. It wasn't much, but young Henry learned something powerful behind that counter: the value of hard work and perseverance. In middle school, Henry discovered his passion for electronics. For a shop class project, he built a small AM/FM radio from a kit. When the static cleared and music played through the speaker for the first time, Henry felt something click, the magic of making an idea come alive. That spark would guide him for the rest of his life. He poured himself into studying electrical engineering, eventually earning his bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees from UCLA, all by age 26. He stayed on as a professor, diving deep into the world of high-speed communications and semiconductor design. By the late 1980s, the internet was still slow and clunky. Remember dial-up modems that screeched at 14 kilobits per second? But Henry saw a future where broadband connections could deliver data through ordinary cable TV lines, a radical idea at the time. Most professors would have published a paper and moved on. Henry decided to build it. The leap of faith. In 1991, Henry and his student Henry Nicholas decided to take the leap. Each man put in $5,000 and founded Broadcom Corporation, not in a shiny office park, but in Nicholas's small condo in Redondo Beach. By day, Henry taught at UCLA. By night, he and Nicholas designed chips on a shoestring budget. No venture capital, no big investors, just passion and caffeine. Their big break came in 1993. They landed a contract with Scientific Atlanta to provide chips for a digital cable TV project in Orlando, Florida, one of the first experiments in high-speed interactive television. If they could make it work, Broadcom would prove that the future of broadband wasn't a dream, it was here. They worked day and night, soldering prototypes, rewriting code, and sleeping on the lab floor. When their chip powered the first successful cable modem system, Broadcom had its moment. By 1994, the company hit $5 million in revenue and moved into a real office near UCLA. A year later, Henry took a leave from the university to focus on Broadcom full-time. What started in a condo was now a real company, Broadcom's rocket ride. Throughout the mid-90s, Broadcom sprinted ahead of the competition. The team created chips that powered faster internet, smoother video, and wireless communication before anyone else. In 1995, they introduced a breakthrough product, a single-chip cable modem that could be mass-produced cheaply. That innovation would soon power homes across America. Revenue exploded. 5 million became 30 million, then 100 million. Broadcom was the name behind the rise of broadband. In 1998, Broadcom went public. The IPO was a smash hit. By the end of the first trading day, the company was valued at over $1 billion. Overnight, Henry Samueli became a billionaire on paper. A year later, Broadcom was worth tens of billions. During the tech boom, its value peaked near $60 billion, and Henry's personal net worth soared past $10 billion. But what made him stand out wasn't just the money. Henry built a company culture rooted in generosity and shared success. Almost every employee had stock. As the company grew, hundreds of Broadcom engineers became millionaires themselves. He often said, "We gave stock to virtually everybody, from the receptionist to the engineers, because success should be shared." Henry Samueli had gone from a humble professor to one of the most powerful figures in tech, but even the brightest rise cast a shadow: the fall. In the early 2000s, the dot-com bubble burst. Broadcom survived the market crash, but another storm was brewing, one far more personal. In 2006, federal investigators accused Broadcom of backdating stock options, common yet controversial practice across Silicon Valley at the time. Regulators claimed the company had misrepresented $2.2 billion in expenses. Suddenly, Henry Samueli, the mild-mannered engineer who rewarded his employees, was portrayed as a criminal. The pressure was immense. In 2008, he resigned from Broadcom and even pleaded guilty to making a false statement to the SEC. For a man known for integrity, it was devastating. He later described it as 5 years of hell. Prosecutors threatened him with a 300-year prison sentence. To make things worse, his co-founder, Henry Nicholas, was also indicted on drug charges and left the company. Broadcom's future and Henry's legacy hung by a thread. For a time, it seemed the dream was over. Redemption. But Henry Samueli never stopped believing in the truth or himself. In 2009, after years of legal battles, a federal judge threw out all charges against him and Broadcom's executives, calling the prosecution's case a miscarriage of justice. The judge praised Henry as a man of integrity and a brilliant engineer. His name was cleared. After years of turmoil, Henry Samueli walked free, reputation intact. It was the hardest lesson of his life, but it taught him something deeper than engineering. True leadership means standing tall when everything crumbles. A new chapter. With the storm behind him, Henry returned to Broadcom. Under his steady leadership, the company continued to expand, from semiconductors to mobile chips, networking, and software. In 2016, Broadcom was acquired by Avago Technologies for $37 billion. The new company took Broadcom's name, assigned the brand's enduring legacy. Today, Broadcom is one of the world's most valuable tech companies. Henry Samueli remains its chairman of the board, still attending technical meetings and mentoring young engineers. He's worth roughly $25 billion, but you wouldn't know it by talking to him. By all accounts, Henry is still humble, thoughtful, and quietly passionate about science and education. The power of giving back. After Broadcom's IPO, Henry and his wife, Susan, looked at their new wealth and made a decision. They would give most of it away. In 1998, it founded the Samueli Foundation to support education, healthcare, and community programs. Their first major act of generosity was a $30 million gift to UCLA's engineering school, the same place where Henry started his journey. Since then, they've donated hundreds of millions to causes that build opportunity for others, from STEM education to mental health research. In 2012, they joined the Giving Pledge, committing to give away the majority of their wealth. Henry often says the greatest investment we can make isn't in technology, it's in people. Oh, and that NHL team in Anaheim. Henry bought the Anaheim Ducks in 2005, and 2 years later, they won the Stanley Cup. Because of course they did. Legacy of the accidental entrepreneur. Henry Samueli once said, "I never envisioned myself as an entrepreneur." And maybe that's what makes his story so powerful. He didn't chase money, he chased ideas. He built a company not to get rich, but to solve problems. His fortune was a byproduct of his passion and his purpose. From a kid who built a radio in shop class to a professor who transformed global communication to a billionaire who gives it all back, Henry's life is proof that real success isn't accidental. It's earned through curiosity, courage, and character. And maybe that's the lesson for every entrepreneur watching this. You don't have to start with millions. You just have to start with a spark and the determination to see it through. Because sometimes the quietest people build the loudest legacies.